Yo YouTube, what's going on? It is your boy SalvationsElite. We are back with another video, guys. And man, it's been a few days since we posted last, but I'm excited for this one because we're doing Learn from the Pros, Optic versus LG from the CWL Pro League just this week. It was a really good match, and I mean, eventually Optic came out hot. LG ends up reverse sweeping. I know it's a little bit of a spoiler, but if you haven't caught up at this point, you don't care. All right, let's be honest, you don't care. So, with that said, I'm excited to make this happen. And also be on the lookout in the future. We're going to be talking a little bit about some potential community tournament stuff and maybe a league. So don't get too excited, but there's going to be a video out in the future titled something along the lines about a community tournament. So make sure to click on that when that comes out. And then we're also, I'm sure, going to be talking about more CWL news in this upcoming week or so. So obviously there's a lot going on, but let's just hop right into the video because I'm excited. I want to learn all these gridlock strats just as much as you do, so let's do this. So in this video, we're basically going through the gridlock search and destroy in the Optic LG match, and we're going to talk about a few things that we noticed, talk about a few of the strats they're using and how they approach this map with setups and stuff like that. So let's just slide over to the first clip. As we all know on gridlock, that A side in showers can be absolutely absurd. Like, the amount of pressure and trading and absolute chaos that can happen in there is insane. And a lot of teams, because it's so hard to retake because there's only a few entrances, a lot of teams will send 3 or 4 over that way. And the issue is that that can create for a really easy bomb plant on B if your team's willing to make that push. And in this whole game, Optic and LG are very willing to give up the B side, which is again pretty common. But what we'll see down the road is that Optic's better at taking advantage of that situation and better at defending and retaking these bombs on that B side. So what we're going to see here in the first round is how Crimsix is the one that is sent to go and watch B side. He's the one guy that's at B. The other 4 Optic members are at A, and they're ready for that rush. But what happens is the LG sends their whole rush on that B side, and Crim's the only one there. We're gonna see an example later of what not to do. Here's what you do if you're in this situation. Here's what you do. Let's watch it and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
The other is probably payload.
LG 5-man hit towards B and a quick plant puts pressure on Optic to now make an incredible retake.
You just see Formal go all the way back to that 18. Now for Optic, it just starts with...
Okay, so you see that Crim just peeks it real quick. He sees that there's at least a handful of them there. They're seeing nobody over at A, so immediately Optic knows, okay, LG's at B. Crim does so well as he shoots while he's inside, and then he repositions himself, gives himself some time, allows for the rest of Optic to start rotating, and he doesn't lose his life in that scouting process. His whole job is to kind of get some information, get an idea of where these guys are, and he should do nothing more than that. Maybe look for a pick, but being passive and playing your life is the most important thing in that situation. And a lot of amateur players might get a little greedy. They might try to go for a pick. They might try to make the glory play. And you cannot be doing that in a team situation, 5v5, trying to retake a bomb like that. And so, again, fantastic play from Crim, and let's see how Optic retakes the bomb. So let's watch that right now.
We'll go all the way back to that 18. Now for Optic, it just starts with Scump and Karma going on the flank. Can they find kills? TJ able to find the opener. Classy didn't have the best game one, but able to win the first gunfight. But there's the trade. And it's so hard to defuse the bomb, but Crim able to gun both gunless and Formal. And the bomb's defused already. Optic gaming with a great...
So as you guys can see, Optic trades those kills, baits them out really well, and they get the W on that round because of how well they play together and retake that bomb. So a big issue, though, is LG's setup on this bomb isn't great. They're not in great positions to be able to trade kills and things like that. Obviously, they've done this a lot, but they might want to fix this a little bit moving forward with how they set up on these bombs because the trades just weren't totally there this time. Again, you have to be aware of that as a team when you're LG and be aware of that positioning on the map, whether or not you're able to push out or whether you shouldn't push out, and make sure you play together as a team to be able to trade those kills and maintain that bomb control. And obviously Optic did a better job than LG in this round. So now we're going to skip to round 4 and see the exact opposite thing. This is where Classic ends up getting trapped in ice cream because of how he positions himself and how he plays a little bit too aggressively while being the only guy at B. Okay, so first of all, let's just watch the clip. Let's hear what Merc and Maven have to say. They kind of are saying the same thing, and they echo what we're talking about in that first round. So let's just watch it and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
Communication going on. Now you can just sort of see a couple of match wins under their belt.
A little more chatter.
A little more chatter.
Classic the spot. Does he get caught? He gets out. He re-challenges, though. He's in trouble. They're going to try and overwhelm him. Tries the pre-fire. Can't get away. Gonna get caught. TJ already in top window, so the rotation player. Informal drops as well. Full sight control. This is going to be a round win for Optic.
You already know how tilted I am.
Oh yeah, like he made the move to back out, and then I don't know if he thought they were closer and thought he had to like try to get one. I don't know. I thought he was just going to dip out to mid map and get out of there.
All you're doing there is gaining information, and then play a 5v5.
And Merc says it so well, man. He says all you're doing there is getting information, and then you're trying to play a 5v5. Yes, nobody knows what Classic was thinking there because it was a bad play, man. It wasn't good. You got to be able to get that peek just quickly. You see that man, you try to get a shot on him. If you don't kill him, immediately back out and play with your team. There's no smarter way to play Search and Destroy. And at the end of the day, in the long term, playing smart is better than making a big time play once in a while. Every single time. In the long run, that's the best way to play. And maybe in the short term, like if you're in a tough situation and you need a big play, then maybe you can do that. But in this situation, early on in the game, Classic should not be trying to re-challenge that, regardless, even if there's a chance there's only 2 people there, which he should know that the whole team's probably going to be there if they have nobody called out over at A. So regardless, it was just a bad play from Classic, and in that situation, once again, back up, play with your squad, and try to make a push on the bomb together. Instead, he kind of forces teammates to kind of push that quickly, rush it, and that's how you see those guys get traded out real quick. Now we're moving forward to round 7. All right, so this is an interesting round because Optic tries to counter this LGB push, and they actually pick off 2 LG members right off the rip. Formal and Gunless go down right at the beginning. Optic has a little bit of a choice there. They can try to back up, play that advantage, or they can try to push forward, trade out these kills quickly, and try to win a round fast. And they definitely didn't make the right decision here. So they get put into a 5v3 right at the beginning of the round, and they know that LG's stacked up here at B. And so instead, Karma and TJ try to push forward to try to trade out some of these kills, get aggressive a little bit unnecessarily, and they give up their advantage, and then you'll see what happens the rest of this round. So let's watch the beginning of this round here, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more after.
Lose one and still be okay at Search. Considering, like last year, or well, most years for Optic.
Well, there's the hard counter from Optic. They send Karma and TJ up the street, but Slats and John able to respond, so now it's a 3 versus 3.
So yeah, it just wasn't a great play from Karma and TJ there, unfortunately. As great of a player as Karma is, and of course, you make mistakes once in a while, obviously, and that was probably a mistake. So again, moving forward in the round now, it's a 3v3 basically, and Scump is on the flank. And this is a good situation here where Scump, once again, gets a kill, but he's trying to play his life, allow his teammates to get into position. And it's almost like how a running back in the NFL will set up a block, and, they're playing patiently. The running back's running patiently to allow that blocker to get in front of him and, clear the way. And that's kind of what Scump does here. He gets one, backs up, which allows Crim to come in and try to trade out those kills.
But look at that number 7 on the minimap. Scump's starting to work his way up.
Gotta be careful here. He can't get caught. If he loses a gunfight, that's when it gets scary. But he's able to win one, and then look, there's the finesse out of Scump, and now his team is there to help him. John does find one, but there's the flank. Doesn't expect it. It's on to John. 1 versus 1. He knows where he is. He's gonna spot him.
Crim's got this ICR, and he's trying to get himself maybe a little range there, back it up and pre-aim it, but
it doesn't work out, unfortunately, but regardless, that's a fundamental call that you play right there, and another type of play that you should be looking to make all the time for the most part. You have to be aware when you're in a situation like that where Scump is, where he's kind of all by himself here, and against any good team, you're going to get traded out regardless if you get 1 kill, so you may as well try to, play that time. If you get 1, that's an advantage right there for your team. Back up, play with your teammates, and work from there. And that's the best way to play in Search and Destroy. It's really hard to do, and it's hard to be fundamental in that way, but it's so important to the concept and the idea and the strategies of Call of Duty in Search and Destroy, and it's something that you need to really focus on as a team moving forward. Okay, so now on to round 8. This is a really decisive round for Optic, and they make a good call for this push right here towards B side once again. I know we're talking a lot about B this round, but again, we're focusing on B because a lot of teams feel a little bit lost over there sometimes, and A side is just again, it's a trade fest. You're trying to bait and trade, and in total, you're just playing as a team to try to bait those kills and trade them better than the other team. And so B can be a good alternative for teams who feel like, you know, they're maybe not that good at that. Optic in this round notices some tendencies from LG. They notice that LG is basically not sending anybody mid to watch that at all. And so what they decide to do is they push 2 mid and they push 3 towards bomb. And they know that Classic has a tendency to push into ice cream pretty often. And this works out really well for them to be able to get a quick pick on Classic. And then they're able to set up on bomb, get the kills extremely easily, and dominate this round. And it really deflates LG and basically, you know, for the most part, ends the game. Let's watch this one real quick. Check that out, and we'll talk about it again afterward.
4-3 for Optic.
All right, let's take a look at the specialists. Everybody's getting pretty close. Tac 5 used by Optic Gaming.
Now, can we go to Classic? Let's see how he plays it this time. This hit's going to come in. Does he get caught?
Nobody's watching mid.
No eyes on mid. He's going to get pushed. And
John used Tac 5 as well. That's a waste of... Oh, that's just such bad timing. Optic switch it up. Crim peeks wide at the truck. Nobody watching over in middle.
What can Classic even do in that spot?
Someone's got to be watching his mid.
They're so worried about an A push that... No help for Classic.
And maybe they know Classic does the same thing every round, right? You can trap them inside that connector. Where we saw Crim, when he peeked the B street, he goes back alley, right? He can't get caught from top middle. So that's just a great mid-round adjustment out of Optic Gaming. Classic goes ice cream every single time. Let's just trap them in there.
It worked.
So yeah, you just see how Optic's able to make that push together. Noticing team tendencies and really paying attention to that in game can be so important and so crucial towards the end of the match. Paying attention to a team's tendencies and what they often do in the game can be so important at the end of the game for your team. If you start realizing, wow, they really love, you know, sending one person here, one person there, 4 people there, 3 people there, wherever, you know, whatever it may be, that can be the decider at the end of the game. And oftentimes the team that can be a little bit more creative, a little bit more innovative in those final 2 or 3 rounds is the team that wins Search and Destroy. So again, it's extremely important to pay attention to those small things at the beginning of the games. Pay attention to where they're setting up, make a mental note of those setups in your mind every single round. And that can be the difference at the end of the game and allow you to make comebacks that seem impossible because you might be able to expect or predict what they're going to do. So again, we only examined a few spots, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Share the video if you guys really enjoy it. I'm trying to do this long term, and I cannot do that without you guys, so I really, really do appreciate it. But as always, guys, I'm your boy, SalvationsElite, and we'll see you next time. I'm out. The road to go pro completely changes with franchise Call of Duty CWL teams, and MLG is gonna have a lot of decisions to make moving forward with this news. So what we'll see next year in whatever the next game is, Modern Warfare 4 or, you know, whatever it may be.